What's up guys, my name is Semtex and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now today's video is going to be something for the beginner designers and beginner people that are even just starting Photoshop and have never used it before, and that is going to be the top 10 essential keyboard shortcuts, guys. So before this video starts, I'd like to recommend that you drop a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. With that being said guys, let's just jump straight into the first keyboard shortcut, which is going to be Alt Zoom. Now this is a very basic keyboard shortcut. It actually involves your mouse, and I believe it's the only one on this list that involves your mouse. But all you want to do is hold Alt and use the mouse scroll wheel, and you can zoom anywhere you're aiming within Photoshop. So see your little cursor here. If you're wanting to zoom into F12 on the keyboard here, you can actually do so just like this. You just use the Alt key. You want to make sure you're holding Alt while you're doing this. Now to the people that use Photoshop quite a bit, or even just for a little bit, you might already know this, and you probably do already know this keyboard shortcut, but it's actually a lot easier than just using the zoom tool, because then you have to hold Alt and then you have to click, and you can't really zoom as easy, and you see it goes off screen like this. I personally prefer just using whatever tool you'd like and then holding Alt and zooming in, and it'll do it. It'll center the actual image here as well. So the next keyboard shortcut I'm going to be showing you guys is going to be Ctrl T. Now this is your transform tool. Instead of going over here to the top left and using the move tool, all you want to do is go into a layer that is a physical layer. What I mean by that is not your color corrections, because you can't physically move something like that. Anything you can move on screen, so shapes, text, anything like that, you want to go over to your layer section and you want to hover over it, click that layer, and then hit Ctrl T. You'll see it selects the whole layer, and you can move the corners. You can also move the inside if you hold shift, and then you can just simply move it. Also, if you want to essentially make the image bigger or smaller without changing specifically the corners, you want to make the whole image bigger or smaller without changing the dimensions, all you want to do is hold Alt and then drag each corner, not each corner, sorry, but one corner, and it'll make the whole thing bigger or smaller. There's a lot of little tricks for this. If you hold shift while you're doing this, you can actually completely transform everything. It's really suited to your needs. So if you would like the image to be squished like this for some reason, or like this, or you want it to be very big, you can do that. And you can also center it. You can do whatever you would like with the transform tool. It's very easy to use. Now jumping right into the next key shortcut that is going to be on my list is going to be the Ctrl Z key. Now this is pretty much the most basic key that you're actually ever going to use in Photoshop. Besides the transform tool, you might use that a bit more, but all this is to undo anything. Let's say I got rid of my color corrections. While hitting Ctrl Z will give me them back. And then if I keep hitting Ctrl Z, as you can tell, it goes in the past essentially, and it undoes over and over. So if you were, say you lost your save file, you can probably just hit Ctrl Z a bunch, and then it'll bring you back to a previous version of what you were creating. This only works very limitedly. Like, you can't just keep hitting Ctrl Z until you're at like the start of your document and there's nothing there. Like, it will have a bit of a boundary because Photoshop doesn't remember your past selections and stuff like that. But Ctrl Z is a very good key to have. Now the next key is actually going to be the Ctrl Shift Z key, which is going to be the redo key. I think I'm naming it. I don't know what the opposite of undo is, so I'm going to name it redo. So let's just say that you got rid of something and you made a selection. Maybe you deleted something on accident and then you would like to get it back. Well, as you know, hitting Ctrl Z undoes that and your selection is back. But if you would like to redo that selection for some reason, instead of having to guess and mark exactly where, like you just were when you forgot and your selection is gone, you can actually hit Ctrl Shift Z. So let's say I got rid of this keyboard here. Hitting Ctrl Z will get rid of it. Hitting Ctrl Shift Z will bring it back. It's that simple, guys. So anything you do, hit Ctrl Shift Z and it'll redo that exact same thing. Now the next keyboard shortcut I actually have for you guys is going to be Ctrl H. This is a very basic keyboard shortcut, and it might not even be useful depending on what kind of Photoshop user you are. If you hit Ctrl R, it'll actually bring up these rulers, and all you want to do is drag these rulers and it'll snap on to the center of things, to the edge of things, and you can also do that with the top rulers, and it really just maps things out so that you can get precision. When you zoom in, the rulers might be in the way, and so if you want to get rid of that, all you want to do is hit Ctrl H and it'll hide the rulers. It's that simple, guys. You could have, say, a million rulers on screen because you're doing a really big project and you need to have everything very precise, and all you want to do to get rid of these rulers, if you're zooming in and it's a bit cluttered, is hit Ctrl H and the rulers just disappear. Hit it again and they'll come back. So the next keyboard shortcut I actually have for you guys is going to be how you duplicate a layer, and this is super simple. obviously you can either right click and click duplicate layer, and then it will just duplicate the same layer. But if you would like to do this very much so faster, all you have to do is select the layer you want to duplicate, hit Ctrl and then hit J, and it'll duplicate it. So the fun thing about this as well is, say you have this keyboard here and you make a selection on the keyboard. Well, if you hit Ctrl J, as you can see, it will essentially duplicate the layer, but only the selected part of that layer, if that makes any sense. Now moving on to the next keyboard shortcut, this is going to be the deselect all layers keyboard shortcut. So if you are doing a lot of things within Photoshop and say you have something selected, say you have, I don't know, the text selected. If you'd like to deselect that, just go ahead and hit Ctrl D. It's that simple, guys. So with the follow-up to the deselect tool, I'm going to show you guys how to select multiple layers. If you want to do this, all you want to do is hover over a single layer. You want to hold Control, and then you want to essentially click that layer. As you can see, it just selects that layer, but if you do the same thing to every other layer, it'll start to only select individual layers. But if you want to select multiple at the exact same time, all you want to do is hit Control and then click on this little thumbnail over here next to the layer, and then it'll select that. But you want to hold Shift while you're doing that, so that next time you click a layer, it'll essentially select both, as you can tell. So you can do that with every single layer, and it'll start to select them all individually. You can even do that with layers that are hidden, and you can see the selection of it. Obviously, you can't do that with certain things like the color corrections, because once again, those are not a physical property within Photoshop. So the next shortcut on today's video is going to be the Save As shortcut. So instead of going all the way up here, going to File, Save As, and then having to save your Photoshop document or your design, all you want to do is hit Control and then Shift and then S, and then it'll bring you straight to this menu. This is a pretty basic one. You can also do Control S and it will automatically save it. But the difference between Save and Save As is Save will save your current document. So say you already have it saved on your desktop, hitting Control S will update that save. Hitting Shift Control S or Control Shift S will actually save a completely new document, and it'll be a completely new save. So the next shortcut and the actual final shortcut in today's video is going to be the brush size shortcut. This is a very, very helpful shortcut as well. Say you were working with the brush a lot, you don't have to make your brush size smaller within right clicking and then making it bigger or smaller. You can actually do this on your keyboard. Let's say I want to make it down to 94 pixels. You're not going to be able to see the exact difference until you essentially move off of this menu, if that makes any sense. Well, if you want to see the exact difference, all you have to do is hit the little bracket keys. I don't know what these things are actually called. They're the little square bracket, but every time you click that, it will up the size, and you want to click the left inner bracket to make it smaller and the right inner bracket to make it bigger. And that is pretty much it for this keyboard shortcut, guys. This is a very, very basic one. Lots of people know this, but I actually didn't know this for like a long time until I started, really getting into Photoshop and stuff. So this is really just an easy one to get the hang of and to use on a daily basis. So guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy today's video. Once again, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Peace. Is going to be the brush size shortcut. That's a bit of a tongue twister, brush size shortcut. But